welcome back to another Buddies, Booze, Banter, Unfiltered Conversations. I am Rick.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Alex.
Hey, Alex. How's it going?
Amazing as always. I'm so fired up.
Why are you fired up?
I just can't wait to hear what's going to transpire over this next hour. I'm ready. I'm ready for anything. 30 minutes?
It could be longer than that.
Why are you so... But what, this makes your day?
Oh, this makes my whole week. You have no idea how excited I get to come to these things.
Well, a couple things that I actually want to jump straight into. It can be a little bit controversial. You know me.
That's your middle name.
But let's be honest. I mean, he really gives us fodder to just simply talk about him all the time. And that would be Donald J. Trump, you know. And last week, you know, coming into this weekend, it was just a ton of things. But, I mean, so first it's going to be all things Trump.
Okay.
All right. Did you hear about his sneakers?
Oh, yeah.
His $400 gold sneakers. I mean, are you kidding me? That is absolutely crazy. You know, first of all, I don't know what he has this infatuation with the color gold. I mean, you remember years ago in his Trump Tower apartment, they had the gold toilet and all that?
Well, gold is always kind of thinking of expensive.
Diamonds are expensive.
But that's a girl's best thing.
It could be my best friend, too.
Well, I guess.
Well, he unveiled it, and I guess the slogan they're doing is never surrender. So it's obviously kind of lined up against this whole, like, you know, make America great again and things of that sort. The interesting thing about it is they're saying that the campaign isn't affiliated with him. Well, but you're kind of using the motto, not just on the sneakers, but also on all the other merchandise that you have out there. But apparently it's a, you know, affiliated with a different company or things of that sort. But he unveiled it at what they call SneakerCon, which I had no idea. What the hell is SneakerCon?
I assume it's a convention where they do all kinds of sneakers like Nike, Puma.
Yeah, it was on Saturday and it was in Philadelphia. I don't know Philadelphia. I don't know if you had a chance to actually get little snippet views of it on the actual TV programs or even on TikTok, to be perfectly honest with you. They were booing him.
Because of the sneakers?
No, just him, period. And I forget what the actual acronym they kept saying, but it was basically, I think it was like, let's go Biden, let's go Biden, let's go Biden. So I think they were saying LGB. I don't think he quite understood this because he says, oh, there's a lot of energy in this room. You know, it's just kind of funny to see him standing up there holding these golden shoes, you know, and I just thought it was actually ridiculous. First of all, it is $399, but apparently they're already have been sold out.
They probably, made 10?
Well, apparently made 1,000. That's apparently 1,000. But the interest, and we'll get down to the end of that here in a second. It is autographed by, you know, the man, you know, so.
Ooh, that ups it another $1.
You know, they're being offered as a part of history, you know, which I hope that's the downfall of that history, to be perfectly honest with you. But even more so is they are already showing up on eBay for resale for $10,000. Now, I often wonder, is like, okay, are the people who bought them really MAGA fans, or they just saw a way to make a quick buck?
And I'll tell you, if somebody's going to sell it, buy it for $10,000, go ahead and let them buy it. They are stupid with their money.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a given. I mean, we already know that. I mean, I'll talk about a little bit of the kind of outtakes that I've seen recently. Because I actually zoomed in. It was probably Saturday or Sunday evening. I had an exciting evening, obviously, you know, but it was actually wee hours of the morning, and there was a TikTok live going on. Young guy, he's probably all about 23, highly intelligent, and obviously a strong supporter of Biden, no doubt. But he had these and his goal is to get as many people on the actual live feed, but his goal is to actually have conversations with MAGA people, and basically have the not ugly debates.
How can you have conversations with MAGA people when they don't listen?
Well, again, obviously he has the ability to cut him off if he needs to, and he did cut one particular person off. I mean, she was a comedian. She obviously was playing to the actual the camera and all that stuff. But I just thought it was interesting to watch them because he systematically just tears down their arguments to the point where, and of course, you know, I'm not live on there. I'm actually just watching it live, but I'm sitting there messaging on there. She's like, is this guy, can he get any stupider? I mean, everything from he was talking about, you know, everything that supposedly Biden did, it was actually Trump who did. And I just find it very interesting how it's all of a sudden they want to change history, but they don't want to change history, you know, previously.
Right.
I just don't get it. That's for sure. Well,
I mean, it's like it's hard to just listen to them because it's like used to you could reason with people.
There's no reasoning with them.
But there is no reason. It's like you can say whatever, and it's like the facts, and it's just like no, it didn't happen that way. It happened this way.
Yeah.
Trump said it happened this way or whatever. So
well, he gets up in his rallies all the time and basically says it happens one way when clearly it's like, dude, I mean, we're not that ignorant. We can actually see it. Now, maybe the other individuals aren't watching you on when you're saying this stuff, but I mean, it's amazing.
And I mean, when you hear if you hear me rant on Trump, it doesn't mean I'm anti-Republican because it's like I grew up being a Republican.
First of all, I mean, let's look at the Republican side of things. I mean, there are some true and die Republicans who are moderates,
Yep.
Or just a little bit to the right, and there are policies that I agree with them on. To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, a lot of them are. Defense, which I am too. There's obviously some smaller government aspects of it, which I am. Obviously, I have other areas of the government where I feel that it should be a little bit larger. So, we're not here to bash. First of all, I don't consider MAGA Republicans.
They're not.
It's
they just got a hold of a cult just got a hold of the party right now.
Right. Well, I mean, it's almost like they need to peel off and have a third party. And maybe the MAGA takes over the original Republicans. The Republicans have their own. Like Republican New or Republican 2.0, whatever it may be. But I mean, it's just extremely sad to see exactly where that particular party has, has gone so low in regards to that. But there may be some controversies about these sneakers, though. Now, everybody who knows Louis Vuitton.
Didn't I hear something about does this something have to do with the red sole?
Yes. Louis Vuitton has trademarked and copyrighted that worldwide since 1993. And there actually is that red, on the soles or whatever you call it is. And they have won a ton of copyright lawsuits on this one. So, I mean, they've set themselves up. Now, again, I'm pretty sure he says, let's do red on that gold there, without even thinking about that, because he just jumps and does things without really thinking, And now, of course, I will say this: whoever wrote the actual descriptions and the verbiage especially on the website, was a little bit smarter, because they say you may not get exactly what you actually visualize on this site. So if they haven't produced all 1,000 yet, because apparently they don't actually ship until like June. Then they're lucky, because otherwise there's a strong possibility they could lose that lawsuit.
You mean Trump could lose another lawsuit?
Another lawsuit. I really did want to go. I mean, I was amazed, because it's not just the one that I'm going to talk about next that he actually lost last week, or the $83 million for the sexual defamation thing and things of that sort. I went down a list. I couldn't believe there was that many. I mean, stuff that we don't typically hear about in the mainstream media. I mean, it may be only $10,000 here, and this is all recent stuff. This isn't something that's like 20 years ago. There's a $25 million for that charity that they were scamming on and all that for kids. I think it was kids with cancer. But anyhow, we can digress on that one for a long time. That's for sure. And that's just the civil side of things. We won't even talk about the criminal aspects of things. I just think it's extremely interesting. These first of all, they're fucking gaudy as hell. I mean, gold and red? Come on.
But that's Trump. Trump did what was it? Playing cards?
Oh, I think he's done everything.
Well, I know,
steaks, water.
Well,
champagne.
no, but I'm just talking about. Wasn't it he had trading cards, wasn't it? And he was superheroes.
Oh, that was with the NFTs that he did.
And that was like a year or two ago.
Well, about a year ago, and those were the NFTs, which again, I'm still.
And those are probably a collector's item, and probably worth thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, well, I think it probably end up being worth more if he doesn't become president again, too. To be honest with you, because it's like oh my gosh, that's a rarity. It's kind of like if you have some sort of artifact that belonged to Adolf Hitler. Let's do that equation of some sort. But let's also talk about what happened last week at the end of the week, which I think that we were all on pins and needles to see exactly what that judge was going to declare in regards to the fine. He had already found them guilty for fraud.
Not for all of them, but he did find them for fraud on a few things, but there was still stuff open.
Yeah. Well, $355 million is the fine, which, I mean, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have liquid cash, even though during his deposition he says, I have tons of cash.
Yes.
And in addition, there's the 9% interest that he's responsible for as well. So as it currently stands, it's at $453.5 million is what he has a judgment against him. And it continues to accrue with that 9% each and every single day.
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah. Well, and of course, he has the automatic right to appeal.
Totally.
Especially in New York's. But the caveat being,
you have to put up the money.
You have or a surety bond.
Yes.
So it means that you either go out there and get somebody who's going to, wager a bet on you that you're not going to, screw this appeal up and lose the money, or just abscond out of the country, or put your own cash up. Now, we know he doesn't put the cash up because we know he doesn't even have the cash. So what does his followers do? Oh, let's go ahead and do a GoFund. There's an actual GoFund out there for somebody who apparently is a billionaire. And this is like some wife of an investor in like Palm Beach or something like that, who actually put it out there. And as of, I think today, it had like $500,000 already raised. I mean, I just like, I get $5 here, $10 here. There was actually some people who were actually donating $5 just to bitch about him. Saying, I just donated just because he's an asshole, and I wanted to say that.
I mean, I look at this, he's very innovative in trying to come up with all these new things for people to give him money, and they do. I just don't understand the people that just keep giving him money. I mean, supposedly they don't have enough money or whatever, but you just keep sending him money.
That demographic, yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the exception of the top end that he actually continues to
I just don't understand that, because supposedly if he's a billionaire, like he's been saying all this stuff.
Multi-billionaire.
Yeah, but you saying this is, why are people that have less money are sending him money?
Well, I think
he's got them brainwashed.
Yeah,
I just don't
and I think
get that.
And in order for us to actually understand that more and dissect it more, we probably need a table of shrinks to figure out exactly how a mass group of individuals, millions of individuals, have drank some sort of Kool-Aid and actually follow this guy as if he's the prophecy and God of some sort, or the reborn. Because it is definitely extremely difficult to kind of explain and even comprehend, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, it kind of just blows my mind, that's for sure.
Yes, it does.
But in addition to the fine, he's also ensured that the independent monitor stays in place for another 3 years because, as he put it, I'm pretty sure you're going to try to do this again.
Of course.
Which, I mean, it sounds like the norm for his family anyways. They also gave, even though he has no official position in his company, they also banned Trump himself for 3 years from actually holding any officers or running any company in the state of New York.
Right.
His sons as well were given a 2-year ban. Mm-hmm. Now, my biggest question is like, well, who the hell is going to run that company now? Unless they completely sell off the assets in New York and move down to Florida. Ivanka's no, she's out in Florida. Well, she ain't in New York anymore.
I get that, but if you're going to keep it in the family.
I just think it's funny. That's all. Actually, the other point that I want to talk about, that GoFund, this is probably a good way of saying how stupid they are. They didn't include the actual interest in that GoFund. Their goal is $355 million.
Hey, if they can get that, more power to them.
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, maybe he only has to pay $100 million in the fine instead. Who knows?
But also, when you're talking about what the judge did, originally he had said that they were going to have to shut down their business license in the state of New York. And so when he did his final ruling, he stopped that one. He said, "Nope, I'm not going to do that."
Well, but again, it still gets down to well, who's going to run the company?
Well, I know, but still,
because
they can.
But the CFO and the other accounting people, they've been fined.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying this before the judge had put it out there that you could not, the Trump could not do business in the state of New York. That didn't happen. He rescinded that. And so I guess one reason I've heard, which is it might help on the appeal, where by rescinding that, there's nothing that really can come up on an appeal.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, I think, at this stage, to be honest with you. Obviously, there was the GoFund, there was obviously the ban. In response, of course, to some of this, besides the GoFund that this, wife of an investor in Palm Beach put up, apparently the pro-Trump truckers want to boycott New York.
I heard that.
And basically shut down any incoming freight and things of that sort. Now, the individual who started this off, which, I mean, he's obviously, a strong proponent of Trump, and I guess he has a decent voice, rescinded his postings on that. He said, I'm still a Trump fan, but apparently I'm not sure if somebody got to him. I'm not sure if he was like indicated there was some sort of lawsuit or I don't know. It was just kind of weird how all of a sudden it was up there, but by the end of the weekend, he pulled it out, completely scraped it of his social media.
Because he's going to lose a lot of business. All the people that because there's not everybody is going to ban all this stuff is, and there's not a much truckers anyway. So it's like if you want enough business, you're going to.
Well, I mean, the ports in New York is really where the merchandise comes from. I mean, it's not like they're taking it from Long Beach, California, and driving that shit all the way over. I mean, it's coming the other way. So I mean, even logically, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm not a trucker, but maybe I'm missing a point here. I don't know. It just again, let's make a statement. Let's jump and not think about it first. But
that's
of course,
what they all do.
But of course, we definitely had Mr. InfoWars host and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones jump on it as well. Now, let me just tell you, this guy's a fucking lunatic. I mean,
he owes a lot of money too.
Oh, he owes like hundreds of millions of dollars to the families and for the Sandy Hook bullshit that he lied about and basically said it was like a whole conspiracy and a scam and it was all like actors and stuff like this, as we've got grieving parents who've lost their children and stuff like that. I mean, despicable in what he was saying. But I mean, I have no idea how anybody listens to him when he's been blatantly proven to be a liar across all these courts that have just ran his picture and his court cases across there. I mean, it's just mainstream. And yet they still kind of, I mean, he's still making money.
Right, because they all say it's fake news.
Yeah, he's the fake news. That's kind of interesting.
But I'm just saying, is all these people that send them money and do all this stuff, I just don't get it. You're losing all. I mean, you're giving your hard-earned money to all this stupid stuff.
Should I have a hard problem giving to the Democrats? I mean, any politician.
And I mean, there's no common sense. So it's just like you got to throw common sense out the window or whatever. But it's like a cult, and it's just like they've got it, and that's part I just don't understand.
Well, I always thought that there's two types of personalities generally in the world. Obviously people who have common sense and have some sort of intelligence, but not obviously like super intelligent scientists and all that. Then I obviously talked about the super genius ones who have shit for common sense. There's got to be a third category, whereas there's fucking stupid and they have no fucking common sense.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's all I can equate it to because, I mean...
And that's like if you wanted to, we could talk about stupid people that are on the far left.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. There's no doubt about it.
Because the one
in Wisconsin.
No, the one in Michigan.
Yeah. The Muslim one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming out saying don't go to polls or do boycott the polls.
Or it's like for the primary, she doesn't want him to do Biden. It's just do nobody or do whatever. It's just like, really and truly?
Well, I mean, and the sad thing about it is by her saying that, there's several groups that will probably follow that, if not thousands of them, just simply because there's somebody in their community who's a position of leadership in the government and basically is kind of like voicing. Same thing with Trump. He voices it, people follows him. What she doesn't realize, and maybe she does and she doesn't give a damn, is its long-term effect damaging that she'll do for that candidate. Because what's to say that they don't show up also at the polls when it comes to the general election, number one, or they vote for somebody different. We obviously know that, Wisconsin and Michigan and, Ohio and Pennsylvania, there were very small margins in 2016.
Right.
And actually in 2020. So, I mean, I think she's playing with fire as well, and you're absolutely right.
But she's been that way for the beginning or whatever, and it's like somebody should primary her.
Well, there's no doubt that some of her, stance are legit, And whether, and I don't want to dwell too deep into this thing because obviously that's a whole Pandora's box with the whole Israel and Palestinian conflict, and just the humanitarian issues over there. But I mean, some of her aspects of that are good, her stances of that. Well, some, not all of them, obviously. But
I'm not a fan of hers.
I am not either. But the way she delivers her rhetoric is just inappropriate. There's no doubt about it.
So the reason I brought it up is I just wanted to let people know is it's like we're just not just doing on one side. It's like there are nuts on the left. Oh, no,
we're not doing it on one side. It's just that side happens to be making more of a fool of themselves.
Well, I get it. But she made a big fool of herself this past week.
And I didn't read the full article. I just, I did one of those clickbait headlines on that one just because obviously I digest so much. And just the headline alone was like, really? I mean, what are you going to fucking accomplish with that? Nothing. Nothing at all. You're going to dissuade people from actually voting the way they should when it comes to the general election in November.
Yep.
It's not just the primary. And I think that she thinks it's because the delineation between primary and general election is going to be okay. No.
It'll
Because
be on the TV. It'll be on the TV commercials and all that stuff.
oh yeah, the news is going to bring it up again. It's like, do you remember when she? But anyhow, we can digress on that.
She's a moron too. So
yeah, I'm not a big fan of her, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, at least AOC has kind of calmed down a little bit.
yes,
And also she's a highly intelligent woman. So when she's done her interviews, I'm impressed with her. Again, not that I believe in everything that she says in her policy wise, but I think that she's also kind of separated herself a little bit from that. I think
from the squad.
Yeah, the squad is what it was.
Yeah, because it was the squad, and it's like they got a bad reputation, but then they also deserved it. They deserved it
100%, because again, I think they were shooting from the hip, thinking that we can get away with this because the other side gets away with it. But you know what? No, it doesn't work that way, because what you're saying is just stupid.
Yes.
But anyhow, well, the other one I want to talk about is it's got to be one of our pulp cultures. And it's not going to be the one that you think I'm going to talk about, and then I have talked about for the last couple of weeks.
Totally.
Yeah, it's not Tay Tay.
Because the Super Bowl's over with now.
Well, no, actually, there's news on her today, so
I know,
I could definitely bring that up there.
It's gonna die down for a little bit.
I doubt it, because obviously the Australian news is really blowing up, whereas her private plane had left Sydney today and flew to Hawaii to pick up Travis.
Oh, cool.
Now, she apparently still is in Sydney, because the group who does the Australian Idol, they were on a yacht outside in the bay.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, they thought they were the big asses out there, Then all of a sudden, there's this big ass yacht comes by, and the transponder had been turned off, which apparently it's illegal to do that. Lo and behold, it's Taylor, because she's not being tracked. And apparently it was her whole crew on this huge yacht.
Wow.
Yeah. So she stayed there, because I think that he's probably going to go on to Singapore and whatever areas that she's going to go on to next. So
well, cool. Good for them.
It's off season for sure.
Yes.
But Beyonce, obviously, she's dropped these 2 new singles out there, which was kind of country related, and which I've listened to them, and I actually kind of enjoy it. It's kind of a cool beat.
It's hard to think of her as country though.
Well, in 2016 she kind of did an album that was country related. To be honest with you, she submitted it for album of the year in the country and western CMAs, and they denied her. So it's what I found it's the Texas Hook'em or whatever it is. Hold'em, yeah.
Hook'em. Is that it?
Yeah, this is actually it, I think, a little bit. But I have just been absolutely loving all the different types of demographics on the social media who are dancing to this, and
cool.
And it's not just in the States; it's across the world.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you, Alec, for that. We appreciate that.
Yeah, man. What do I do with this drink thing? How do I?
Well, we got a podcast we're doing, so you have to wait.
Oh, okay.
Because we haven't quite got hired a bartender.
Oh, okay. I was just asking for a friend.
I'll refresh it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Because we should be getting close, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we can end it right now.
Well, no, we're not.
We're not in it right now. We're not in it right now. I need to get through Beyonce at least.
Yes.
I can obviously talk all day. There's no doubt about it. Because
we know that.
I obviously research and I delve into
Luckily,
things.
if you're on the podcast, you only have a short amount to hear from him. But then after the podcast, we keep hearing him going on and on and on.
Well, no, I move on to another subject.
No, let's go Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Let's go Beyonce.
And she's had pushback on several camps, including R&B, hip hop, raps. But the one that I want to talk about specifically is, and of course, not that he's really relevant. It's just his comments were just absolutely racist, and that is John Snyder from the Dukes of Hazzard fame.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that I get this right. He's been slammed as racist and hateful language. Now, let's keep in mind he was on OAN, that extreme right alt, news program, which I don't even.
Wait, OYN?
OAN.
Oh, I thought you said OYN.
No.
I thought that was Oprah's net.
No, that's she's O. She's O.
Well, I thought you said OYN.
No, she's O. That's just O.
But there used to be OW. Wait, OWN.
Yeah, she changed it, but she's just
okay.
O now.
Got it.
She's the O network.
Right.
This is OAN, which is the network that came out during, I think, just before Trump became president or during the presidency, which is like extreme alt-right. And now, of course, they kind of like pulled back on their whole like big lie thing and the and saying the election was stolen and all that, just because they were being sued, obviously, by different of the, what do you call it? The readers that did the actual ballots. But and I got to read this. I want to make sure I get it right because, I mean, it really has impact on exactly what the words were. First of all, the actual host asked him, he says, the lefties in the entertainment industry just won't leave any area alone, right? They just have to seize control over every aspect, don't they? He replied, they've got to make their mark, just like a dog in a dog park walk. You know, every dog has to mark every tree, right? So that's what's going on here.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, and it actually is, there's no like, parsing it. There's no, saying, oh, well, I'm in bell. No, I saw the video. Him talk. I'm like, and even before, and I saw it before I knew exactly what the article or the actual footage I was seeing is like, and I said, holy shit, are you kidding me? I'm just floored about that, to be honest with you. And the fact that they feel that they can get away with that.
Because everybody does now.
Well, I just find it extremely disgusting.
There's no filter on people's
In
mouth anymore.
addition, it's been reversed, but there was a radio station in Oklahoma, which was KYKC, who refused to play her songs. Refused, even though they were flooded with emails and requests and phone calls and all that, to the point where they had to reverse their decision and basically started playing it out there. But they said, it's like, we don't play Beyonce and KYKC as we are a country music station. So they were already dissuading, disassociate themselves as she's not country. Mm-hmm. I mean, which, if you listen to the damn song, that's country. I mean, yeah, it's a little catchier because we know who it is, and maybe there's some bias in a lot of our heads because we do like Queen Bee. But I mean, it's country. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, and it deserves. And I'm going to say this, and I'm sure that I'll get some pushback. If it had been a white pop star who all of a sudden did a country album, do you think there would be any hoopla? Do you think there would be any pushback? And do you think that there'd be a dog peeing in a fucking dog park?
I'm thinking.
No. Seriously. You think if Justin Bieber comes out with that, or one of those stars out there, or one of the Backstreet Boys or the NSYNC boys come out there and do a country and western song or album, that they're going to get the same pushback that is coming from the right on Beyonce? No. It's because of skin color. Let's be honest.
Well, and that could be the case too, or whatever. But the American people, you just need to speak up when you see this injustice, and there's a lot of it.
Absolutely,
and
it's on both sides.
I totally agree. Both sides,
and
they're both extreme sides. Let me clarify that. It's the extreme sides on both sides. Everybody in the middle don't really care about this stuff.
On the actual rap side, Elysia Banks, she's a rapper.
So I don't know who she is.
I mean,
I'm not into rap anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to a couple of things, and she's not bad. I mean, she's actually a good artist, pretty catchy. And I'm quoting her, nothing country about it. You're setting yourself up to be ridiculed again. There's a theatrical element to country music. Them country critics are not just going to accept an ugly blonde wig and bullying from Jay-Z. It's given a big-time musical grift. Beyonce, stop the madness. The gay baiting, the overtly narcissistic attempts to lazily encroach into a genre you think your popularity is going to gain accolades for, and you just looking like food, sis. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, you've got a black female not supporting another black female who is extremely talented. I mean, let's put aside the fact that she obviously has a lot of sway because of the influence that she has and the money that she has on it. I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, that is and she's like, I still love you though. I mean, come on, really? I mean, do you really think that you're providing her the right support? Because I mean, what if you decide that you want to go more R&B versus rap, which a lot of the rappers do, because in order for them to expand on their demographic audiences, they have to go that way. And yet, I mean, so again, my point is, like, it's on both sides.
No, it is
on both sides, and
when everybody wants because with social media and everything, everybody can say something, and then it just gets multiplied time and time again, and then everybody keeps talking about it.
But what I will say this, besides what Jay-Z said at the Grammys and that crap that he was talking about, which I think that was just ridiculous. One is he was getting the award; it had nothing to do with Beyonce, and to poke that bear during that time was not the most appropriate thing. But Beyonce is not. She's going for it. I mean, she has the balls to do it, and she deserves the right to do whatever she wants based upon what her career is.
Anybody does.
Well, yeah, but also what she's accomplished as an artist, as an entertainer, I think that she has that right. And so she is not listening to all this other crap that's going on either side.
Because on one aspect, it's publicity. So it's like people that probably would not have listened to the song are probably now going to listen to the song.
I have seen on all the social media outlets, white, black, Asian, Latino, you name it. Everybody, I mean, old, young, kids, you name it, across every demographic, literally are dancing to it. And I think it's a catchy as hell. And I mean, she has definitely expanded her audience, and good for her, and good for standing her ground on that. And even though she tried that foray into country and western back in 2016, and they kind of pushed back on it, didn't dissuade her from trying it again. And let me just tell you, this is a full album. I guarantee you, the airwaves are already blowing up with that Texas Hold'em. So I mean, I'm loving that.
Well,
I'm
cool.
loving that. But the question that I have though is, and this came up on again, either side of it, is this cultural appropriation an issue, or is a appropriate cultural recognition?
All right, I'm not following.
Okay.
So,
well, obviously, cultural appropriation occurs when a member of one culture takes possession of ownership of elements from another group's cultural identity or associated markers, be it intentional or not. So basically, it's like the right or the predominantly audience being white of country and western saying that belongs to us. And she's coming in here and trying to appropriate it as hers or into the black community. Is now, and obviously this is a trick question of what I'm asking for you, where clearly it's not a cultural appropriation. It's simply because the roots of country and western literally had a huge impact from the slaves from Africa. Huge impact on whether it be the banjo and the guitar and things of that sort. So, I mean, it really is about her kind of like going full circle, in my opinion, and recognizing the ancestral aspect of it.
but that argument has been going on for years, decades. Because it's like, I'm trying to think back. Didn't Elvis Presley, some of his songs were from black artists?
100%, but he acknowledged it. You know, the issue that happened there is you had a smaller, younger generation who started to listen to it and loved it. And then, of course, his mom and dad and that older generation is like, oh, what is this, you know? So, I mean, there was the divide based upon generational. It wasn't so much in regards to black and white. It was generational because obviously the young white ones really loved it. But he was highly influenced from the black community,
right,
in regards
so
to
it's
the
like,
music.
so I mean, so when you're talking about that's been going on forever with people using different kind of
my point is like the tables are turned. Obviously, it's typically most of the time it's classified as whites attempting to appropriate black culture. You know, that's what's always been, you know, like, oh, you want to be a hip hop artist and you're white, or you want to be this and you want to be that. You know, whereas now they're trying to turn the tables and say, well, she's trying to appropriate our culture. She's trying to steal our, you know, history and all that. The idea of country music being an exclusive expression of white conventions was simply a marketing tool, marketing vehicle to fashion the genre for a more compelling appeal among white Americans. So what happened is that, you know, to avoid that kind of association to the influences of the past of black Americans or black Africans, they kind of marketed it towards whites. And it was a natural progression simply because you had, you know, somebody like Elvis Presley who obviously started adding rock and roll and all that, which actually, you know, even created the black community going towards there and R&B. You know, so I just find it very interesting, the whole kind of historical perspective of it. And I love the fact that she's finally come full circle on that.
And it should be just simple. Do you like the music or not?
100%. I mean, and it's catchy. I love it. You know,
Well,
I mean, I wasn't sure at first I was going to, because even when she mentioned it in the Verizon commercial, I was like, did she just say?
I just get tired of everybody trying to make a controversy out of everything. And I get tired of it. Sometimes you get caught up in on certain things or whatever, but I get tired of all that.
You know, the interesting thing about saying that, Mike, and you're absolutely right. It's definitely, you know, wearing. But that's the country, not just.
No, it is.
Not,
it
no,
is
no, no,
right
let me
now.
finish that. Not just today. It's actually the history of our country, and there's been divisions and discrimination and separation. I mean, we think about San Francisco and in the late 1800s, early 1900s about the Chinese and how they discriminated against them, and they were just third class citizens. They actually respected the blacks more than they respected the Chinese, even though they built our railroads. So again, it's not something one we should be proud of, number one, but it's also something that we shouldn't run away from of our history, and two, it's something that we should be extremely cognizant of today and make sure we make some changes of it. What we have as a problem is we have a group of individuals who actually also have the airwaves that don't want to go there. They want to go back. They want to continue to be in those zones of discrimination and things of that sort. Now, I know that this was definitely kind of a more serious podcast in regards to it, but I mean, there was just.
But you had your points you wanted to make.
Well, yeah, there was just so much information that came out this last week, and that I really think that we needed to address that because obviously this is unfiltered conversations in our opinion. So, I do appreciate you guys spending some time with us tonight, and we hope to see you again here on Buddy's Booze Banter Unfiltered Conversations. I am Rick.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Alex.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.